You are I don't want to look it up.
So I'm a licensed social worker, and I'm also a board certified behavior analyst. Yeah. Okay. My bad. I guess I forgot. I don't know. Sorry. Oh, there's a video first.
I have worked with children
Pause for that, I guess.
I've been with children in orphanages in Romania. I have worked with children all over the world. I've been with children in orphanages in Romania and Ethiopia and Rwanda. I've been with children in foster care all over the U.S. I've been with children in residential treatment facilities. I've been with children in schools, elementary schools. I've worked with kids in the courts. I've been a mommy. I've been a grandmommy. And in any of those situations, there are 7 gifts I'd give to any child if I had the power to give it to them. The first gift I'd give every child is a voice. Think about it. Biologically, one of the most profound changes that happens to a mother's brain when she's pregnant is that body primes her to hear. There are dramatic changes in the somatosensory region of the brain that has to do with hearing. Moms are primed biologically to hear every little whisper, every little sound, every little sigh their child makes. As a parent bringing a child from a hard place, the best gift that you'll give to them is a voice. That will be things like giving them full attention when they talk. I'm listening, tell me what you need. That will be things like embracing what they have to say. That will be things like giving them opportunity to express themselves in writing and drawing and words. Myriad ways, as complex and as vastly different as your families. But in every way, when that child speaks, that you can stop and come front and center to listen, that child will learn that their voice matters, that their need matters, and that they matter to you. Research conducted as early as 1950 by Yale pediatricians published data that documented the fact that when children are small, when babies are newborns, if no one comes when they cry, they stop crying within 30 to 60 days. This is the experience many of us have in orphanage, where there are large rooms of children and no sounds. They have learned they do not have voice. A child who has no voice and who has no safe person to talk to, that child will use alternate strategies. They include aggression, manipulation, control, and violence. If I want to take those tools away from a child, I need to give them the most important tool, and that is the knowledge they have a voice with me. One of the things that we discovered after the bombings in World War II in Europe, in towns in London, in London, where the bombing strafing had been daily, day after day after day after day, what we discovered was that the children were in the streets playing following the bombing. Now, the mothers were sitting at the kitchen table. They were drinking tea and talking about the story of the bombing over and over again. They told how terrifying it was when they couldn't find their child and they were too far from the shelter. The dads were in the pubs, and they were talking about it, how they didn't know where their wife was or their youngest son was at work. The children were in the streets. Now, they didn't have as much language as the mothers and daddies. So all over London, it is said that children sat in the rubble, picking up pieces of buildings and reenacting dive bombing over and over and over and over and over. And in this way, they gave voice to their fear. They gave voice to their terror. They gave voice to their need to tell the story. If we can be a vehicle to empower our child's voice, we will have begun their journey of healing.
Talk. She's wonderful. She is soothing. And then I'm going to come here and yell at you. Anyway, so as Karen talked, any child that comes to us from a hard place has lost their voice, and therefore they've lost their trust. I think one of the things that stands out the most to me in the TBR trainings that we've attended is when they talk about the orphanage, and it's full of babies, and the babies aren't crying because they know that no one will come. And I think that speaks volumes to the amount, right, like no one showed up over and over and over, and so now they no longer cry because they don't believe anybody will come. And I think that's crazy to me. It blew my mind. So at camp, we'll be asking our campers to use their words. It's one of our values that we have. Use your words rather than their behavior to tell us what they need. And that doesn't mean that they'll always do that perfectly, and some kids will revert to their behavior to get that need met, but we're going to try to encourage them to tell us what they need. So in order for this to work, we have to give them the message that we are safe people and that we are listening, right? So some of the things that we saw and you guys mentioned it, I can't remember who, about the caregiver getting on that child's level and showing them that they're valued and that she sees them and that they're safe. That's what we want to do at camp. So showing up for the child every time there's something at camp, right? Like consistent care, that's going to communicate that the child's needs will be met and that it matters to this adult that their needs are met. Warm interaction will let your camper know that you value them. We'll talk about how we can show this through appropriate touch and our interactions with the campers later. But always be in mind, like Karen Purvis always talks about giving touch, giving words, and giving looking at the child in order to make that connection every time. Okay, so sometimes you may feel that they don't really need what they're communicating. Sorry, hang on. Sometimes you don't feel that. Anyway, you might think that they're not needing what they're communicating, their need is. I'm sorry, that's like a really roundabout way to say it, but you might think that, well, you just had a snack, you don't need another one, or you don't really need this. But again, like it's them trying to make that relationship with you and for you, giving you an opportunity to prove that you will show up, right? Like making connections with campers is having the opportunity to tell them yes. In one of our TBRI videos, a foster mom talked about how she had a snack drawer, and every time a child asked to have a snack from that drawer, she was saying yes. So she was giving herself the opportunity to make that connection by saying yes to that child every time. Yes, you can have that. Yes, I'll meet your need. So at camp, we're going to give ourselves lots of opportunities to say yes and meet that child's need. Okay, so how do we earn the campers' trust and give them voice? Discuss at your table. And then think of 3 ways. So you're going to discuss at your table. Think of 3 ways you think that we can do this, that we can gain their trust and give them voice. Go ahead and get talking. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? Okay, so can we share a few of the ideas that you guys had to gain trust and give a camper voice? I don't even have to finish it. Reagan's like, yeah.
So we were talking about how play is really, really beneficial, and really just getting down on their level and just playing with them. Like we were talking about how, I think it was this last year, I can't remember, but me and my camper, like everybody else is at the Gaga Ball pits playing Gaga Ball, and she just wanted to dig in the volleyball sand to look for rocks. And so she's like down on her belly digging for rocks, and I'm like, okay, like we're doing this. And so I'm down completely covered in sand digging in the volleyball pit for rocks. And we didn't necessarily really talk. We just kind of dug for rocks. And it was just a great moment, I think, of connection and play.
Okay. I was going to say, I think, and I'm sure someone else is going to say this too, but play at camp is one of the most amazing things to get to watch people do with their campers and staff. Because, like, for example, we have 9 Square, and you'll see, like, a line of campers and staff just waiting to get in there to play. And even campers and counselors being in the same square together, like being a team. It's one of the most amazing things to get to experience at camp, even Gaga Ball. I know that the male counselors and their campers would throw down pretty hard in the Gaga Ball pit a couple years ago. It got pretty real. It was pretty intense, pretty heated. But yeah, so play, I would agree with Reagan, is one of the most valuable things that we get to have at camp, and it's really awesome as somebody watching to get to see those interactions happen.
So we were talking over here, and I said match their energy. So if they're really happy, be really happy with them. If they're really sad, sometimes they don't want you to fix it. They just need you to sit with them. So then just sit with them. Quietly be in that moment with them. And then keep eye contact with them when you're talking to them. Remember their name. Remember their name, too. That's a great one also.
We had a camper that last year, was it last year? 2 years ago. No, it was last year. Was no, I don't know. Was so excited that everybody at camp knew his name and said it correctly, and that was super valuable to him. Yes, yeah. He went home and was like, they knew my name. They knew it, and they said it right.
For me, I just had, just find something interesting and fun to talk with the kid about. Like, there was one kid in my group, he wasn't my camper, but I would say, greetings to him. And I often do that to try to spark more interesting conversations with people in general throughout my life, instead of just, hello, how are you? Good. How about yourself? Good. Conversation dies. So I said that to the kid, and he's like, what's that word mean? I tell him, oh, it's basically a fancy word for hello. And so the rest of the week, he would say greetings to me, and I'd say other fancy words I know for hello, like salutations. And then another counselor in our group knew the formal and informal Russian words for hello. So we would basically, throughout the whole rest of the week, we would go through all those words to each other. Greetings, salutations, hola. And it was such a fun way to connect with the kid.
So my camper last year was quite the little artist and loved to draw everything. And at one point during camp, we were supposed to build a birdhouse. Well, she wanted no part of that. And so instead, she built a bed and a TV and different pieces of furniture out of her individual pieces of wood. And on the TV, she went with the colors black and red and painted quite a murder scene. And so that was surprising. And instead of trying to, I guess, tamper that or make her do something normal, I was sitting there with Michelle Allison, and she really encouraged me to just let her express herself in that way, that was really important for kids to, if they wanted to go dark or whatever, to just let them talk through whatever creative way they wanted to go.
Yeah, right. Camp is for the camper. So we make it work. Jacob.
Had some funny ones I can't share. Anyways, I have two really, I don't know. Anyways, so one of them is like starting strong at the beginning of the week by listening well and like not dismissing the little things that like, oh, they said that, I'm going to hold, just realizing what are they actually saying, like through their actions or what they're saying when, what they're actually saying behind it. And then like, I think making really simple promises and following through on them is a great way to learn trust. And I'll give you the microphone back.
Promises are really questionable because we do not want to make those if we cannot keep them. Yeah, but I would maybe just avoid the whole word altogether. Is that what you're gonna?
I was just gonna say, don't make promises.
Okay. Yep. I think in general, because like you never know what's gonna happen, just avoid making promises. Wendy. We'll ask Wendy. I'm sorry, Jacob. I'm so sorry. Did you have your...
So just because this is my first year, when somebody said remembering their name and how wonderful that was, I literally was at a meeting yesterday for one of our kids that is in residential, and saying his name, which is very helpful to us, that would escalate him, because every time people would say his name, he was in trouble. So, that was an aha for me, because I'm always like getting to know your person, know their names. The other thing I just want to piggyback off of when you were playing in the sand, and I love making those connections, because you would not believe how many people don't know how to build those relationships, which it sounds like you just be nice, but you didn't put any demands on that student or that child. You were there. And many times, like in my field, I'm in education, we're gonna play together, but then I'm like, how about using this color for your birdhouse? How about if we dig over here? So then we're still in that controlling. So I just think kudos to you guys. I'm learning so much. This is awesome. Thank you.
Right, yeah, we do let the child direct the play, and that's something we'll talk about more, but yeah, we follow their lead.
I'm not sure how to word this like exactly, but I feel like a way to lose a camper's trust is like if they say like, you're my favorite like cousin, and you were to say like, you're my favorite camper, and they go back and tell like another camper that, then the other camper's gonna be like, what? Like, I thought that I was theirs. So instead of like saying like, you're my favorite, just say like, yeah, like I really like enjoyed playing with you today too, or just like things like that.
Right, yeah, words matter and how you share them. Yeah, that was a good one. Anybody else have anything super important that they want to share? Okay. I'm probably going to go over my time. I'll go fast. Okay. All of you had really great ideas, and just wonderful. And we were having a conversation, Evan and Wendy and I, and just like looking forward to camp. I mean, it's May, and I just really can't wait for July, right? So it's, like Evan said, it's the new Christmas. Yeah. So like even reflecting on the play, like I'm just so looking forward to kicking everybody's butt in 9 square, so, in carpet ball and everything. Okay, so some of the things I have written down is giving full attention, which you guys hit on, showing emotional warmth, right? So making sure that we're welcoming and giving them all that, right? Good touch, the space, we're making eye contact, we're at their level, we're not cold or shut off. Your body language matters, right? So how you're interacting matters. Again, playful, interacting playfully. Physically matching or mirroring your camper's voice when they speak to you. Crystal hit on this, right? So we're gonna match their level and how they're interacting with us. We're gonna give it right back. Introducing new activities with sensitivity, right? So some of the activities that we have, campers aren't super into or might be a little resistant to or might just want to pick flowers the whole time. And that's okay, but we're just going to make sure that when we introduce those new things, we're meeting them where they're at, because we will say this over and over, camp is for the camper. Something super awesome at camp that we have is schedules for every day that break down everything like super duper descriptive and detailed. So on that, it has the times that we're transitioning and all that information. We give those to you counselors to be able to share with your campers as well, to give them notice of upcoming transitions or for them to know what's coming next, right? Because those kids like predictability and they don't like surprises necessarily, because sometimes those aren't always great. So yeah, we have a schedule, and so you're able to give them notice of upcoming transitions or anything else that's coming up. This one is really great. So giving choices. Can anybody think of a choice that they've maybe offered at camp that, so when we give choices, we don't necessarily want to offer something we're not going to do. Like Wendy, last year, we had a camper that they wanted him to shower, but he didn't want to shower, so we gave him the option to shower and get into bed or just get into bed, and he just got into bed. So we're giving choices that still meet our expectation and what we're desiring, but we're still giving them that control or that ability to choose what they would like to do. So giving choice is a great way to give trust or to earn trust and give them a voice. Oh yeah, there's examples on here. So would you like to take a nap or simply rest quietly? That's at 30-30 time. Would you like to sit in the front or the middle? Would you like the yellow or blue fidget spinner? So giving them choices throughout their time at camp is a great way to build that relationship and let them know they have a voice and a choice when they're interacting with you. Sure. Yep. We're going to talk about later. Cool. Come back next month for a continuation on voice. Okay, so when we're offering choice, we don't want to act insensitively or let the camper run the show, right? Our choices are still getting what we want to accomplish done. So instead of asking open-ended questions like, this is really terrible, but what do you want now? What do you want to do now? Or what would you like to, or asking things like, would you like to practice your act for the show or play on the swings? So instead of saying, what do you want to do? We give them choices like, what would you like to practice your act or would you like to play on the swings? So when we see negative behaviors at camp, we want to encourage them to use their words. I think that we even use this with each other, right? Tell me what you need or how can I help you? We're always searching for ways to offer the camper the opportunity to tell us what they need or what we can do to help them, giving them, again, that voice and showing them that we're showing up for them and allowing them to communicate their needs to us. If use your words results in verbal aggression, we follow with use good words. Try it. If it doesn't work, let me know. If your camper begins acting out midway through the week in ways they weren't before, check your responses when they talk to you. If they feel they aren't being listened to, they will use behavior to try to get their needs met. We talk about this a lot. Behavior is trying to get our needs met. Remember, they're in survival mode. It's not necessarily personal. They're trying to communicate how they want their needs met to you. Doing good. So our camp values are, and I think Wendy might have talked about this, but our first value is show respect, gentle and kind, listen and stick together, use your and know. Fabulous. I also really love that we call these values, not rules. We would like them to do these things, but they're not rules. And I just kind of like that. It's not a demand, right? We're not demanding it out of them. We would like to see it. Do you want me to talk for a minute? I'm just 1 minute off, so. Yes. Oh, does anybody have any questions about that? Sam. He raised his hand. Use your words.
Campground rules. It's not our rules, it's the campground rules. I don't, and if you don't wear the vest, you don't get to, you can wear the vest and get on the boat, or we can do something else. Those are the options. Yeah, so you're still giving them a choice. You can pick flowers. You can find rocks. You can catch butterflies. If you have a tiny little girl as your camper, that's what you're going to be doing. So just be prepared. All right. Thanks, Amanda. Okay. Speaking of no hurts. Go ahead with that. I'm just kidding. I did. You're laughing too, so it was all safe. It was very safe. Okay, you can take that down. So real quick, I just want to take a sharp right turn, left turn, whatever, and talk real quick about camp roles. Now, most of you probably know hopefully you know what role you're going to fulfill. Some of you I've told, please be flexible. It's up in the air right now. Thank you so much for your flexibility. Some of you have more than one role. Thank you so much for your flexibility. That's staff people. But real quick, for the counselor, those of you who are counselors, if you know you're going to be a counselor, raise your hand. Everybody look around. These are our counselors. Amazing people. Yes, you are. So one really exciting thing about this year is that on the male side, we are at full capacity. So, yay, guys. We have all the men that we need to fill that bunkhouse. So, yeah. Every bed. So just get ready. I'm just telling you now. How am I going to say no if there's a bed to a boy, right? I can't. I cannot do it because as it is, we have a waiting list of boys, even with our full capacity. We have boys on a wait list. So there is no way I'm saying no to a boy if I have the guy to be a counselor. So the counselor, your main role is to do what your camper is doing, unless they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing. You are doing the activity with your camper, right? So if your camper is playing 9 square, what are you doing? That's right. If your camper is doing an activity at the craft center, what are you doing? Yes, or you're sitting next to them and you're giving them choices and you're helping walk them through it. And if they don't want to do it and they want to go lay in the gravel, what are you doing? Laying in the gravel, right? They've done it. I'm just saying. They're just, so counselor, you are doing what your camper is doing. You, male counselors, you'll be overseeing one camper. Doable, right? Most of the time. Females, counselors, you will have 1 or 2 campers depending on your camper's needs. So some of our girls need to be one-on-one. Some are fine sharing you. So if you end up with only one camper, it's most likely nothing to do with you and your ability. It's about that camper and what they need. And we felt that you were the best match for that particular camper. Okay? So you're just playing, counselors. You are playing and overseeing your campers. Staff, your main role is to support the campers and the counselors. That is our role. to be support, and that means prepping all activities, cleaning up after activities, running activities, being too deep for our counselors, making sure all of their needs are met. That's our job. Some of you, no, you will all have a specific title, and that is your main role. Staff members, you will have a title, and that's your main role. But that's not all you will be doing. So keep in mind, like for example, Brandon back there, wave at us, Brandon K. That's Brandon. He is our assistant coach, but is that all he will be doing? No. He will have many other jobs to do, as he well knows. So keep that in mind. We have a board in the command center. That's our break area, and you staff need to check it every day and see where you're supposed to be when, okay? So we are the ones who make the schedule work, and we're in June, we'll go into more depth, and you'll meet more of our staffs, because you need to know who they are and who to go to for different things. So cousins, your main role is also to assist the staff and counselors and to play with the campers. That is your main role. Yay for our cousins. Okay, so you will also either act in the drama or help set up for the drama. You will just get ready for it. You have to help lead the songs. I don't care if you are shy or not, right, cousins? But here's what I do know, that the campers love the cousins, and they will emulate you. So if you get up and lead the songs, they will do the songs with you. So keep that in mind if you ever feel silly, and you will. We all will feel silly doing the songs. We just will. Huh? Emulate. Which means they will do what you do. They will follow your example. Yes, they will mimic you. And they will probably, so we can't expect them to do anything. So let's say that your energy level doing and this is for all of us, your energy level doing the song, maybe you're at a 50%, you're just like, if that's your energy level, your kid's going to do this. You have to be, you have to and they'll kind of be like, right? Right. No. I'll do it for the campers. Okay. And then, cousins, we also send you to help run events, set up and tear down, all that good stuff. Cousins cannot provide too deep because they're not yet adults. And so we only ask adults to provide too deep. So counselors and staff, if you see a cousin, please don't ask them to provide that. They cannot do that for you. Got it? Okay. And then we'll talk more specifics this afternoon, but I definitely wanted you to just kind of know, if you're sitting there thinking, what am I doing at camp? You kind of know. Now we're going to